All right, we got Melody Watts back on the show for round two. If you don't remember Melody, she is a holistic health coach and doTERRA's top 1% rep in the company, specialist in essential oils and all things holistic health. Melody, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm pumped because this episode is really, it's the opportune time. We're going to get in beyond oils. We're going to get deep into some root cause health stuff. But today I brought you back on because I'm like, Melody, I want to talk about sex and oils. So, and how, and why why would you even do that? So, but before I do, I wanted to ask you, like, what's new and exciting going on in doTERRA that excites you, either A, about the business, or B, just products and things coming out. And before we even do that, actually, I wanted to say something. I was just thinking about this. If people don't know, I'm a doTERRA advocate because my wife actually was the one who discovered it, and from her mutual friends. And it was really just from using one of the oils, Breathe. We've been using oils for 10 years. And she's like, Joel, you don't understand. The oil, this actually worked. So my kid was having respiratory issues, and funny enough, just last night, same thing. He was up at 2 a.m, had couldn't stop coughing. She put Breathe on him around the chest, stayed with him, had him inhale it, and guess what? He was able to go asleep. So it's just so funny. Like, we're coming back full circle of how I got involved with the product and really started learning more. And then the last thing I want to say is, one of a new member that just joined my team, Caitlin, she's had issues with her nerves and a spinal injury that actually really just, I didn't realize, but she's been on painkillers for 3 years, taking high amounts of painkillers. And she goes, Joel, I just started taking Copaiba, the soft gel caps that doTERRA makes, and using Deep Blue. And she goes, I haven't had to take my meds. I mean, freaking incredible when you think about someone being able to get rid of painkillers for 3 years. And she said, if I don't take them, like, the nerve pain is so bad. She's just taking Copaiba and she doesn't feel anything, feels great. I mean, you just think, like, it just gives me like chills and inspiration of just seeing sometimes I even forget what the product can do. And so anyways,
Yeah.
I had to share that. But yeah, what's new and exciting with doTERRA in terms of products and just the business that excites you?
Well, part of the business that excites me is making an impact and changing lives. Like, you have changed lives just by sharing with that one person, right? Like, being on pain meds, you do that long enough, it's kidney, liver, like, you will have issues, and it affects your longevity and your quality of life and your tissues. Like, you just are not going to last with that amount of pain medication. And so having an alternative is so impactful. So just the impact it can make. The other thing I love about the business is the people and the culture. Everybody is so service oriented in our business, and our team culture and community is just incredible. We just had a leaders day at my house the other day, and one of the women had lost their mom in the last couple of years, and I had no idea. But at the exact time, like within a few months that she had lost her mom, she had met us at a booth. And she said that the community of women that just surrounded her just gave her that nurturing that she was missing out. And she just felt like she was led right to us. And so just knowing that was that for her was just made such a huge impact, and just reminded me the importance of connection and live events. So for our business partners, that connection is just so meaningful to me. So I love those things. And then, of course, the retention rate and the projections, like, our biggest 15 years is not behind us. It's in front of us. Like, we're tripling our impact in the next 10 years. Super excited to be on the cutting edge and helping other people on my team reach financial freedom. And just having that residual piece is such a big power. I mean, every time I meet with my team members and we get on a group chat and I'm helping them with whatever it is in their business, I'm always the first one to respond. And I always tell people, yeah, post in the group chat when you need something, and I'll probably be the first to respond because I have the most time freedom, right? And that's what I want for you guys. Like, I'm the one that's probably most available out of all of us. And so I love that I can be there for my team and have that time freedom. That's my goal for my team, is that they have that they're not trading time for dollars or services for dollars well into their 50s, that they have that retirement fund and that asset, which you can pass on to your kids. So, like, I could talk about business all day long, but yeah, so let's jump into now the favorite part of my products that we're going into February, which is going to be incredible. Our new liposomal electrolytes are being released. They're up to 300% more absorption. doTERRA does not mess around with their formulas. Like their citric acid is made from sweet potatoes. They just know exactly what they're doing. They're always innovating. And then we have our new flavor of our collagen. So we have 9 collagen peptides with NMN. We have a pomegranate flavor coming out in February. So there's just some exciting things. They're always innovating new products every quarter. Our rose spray is coming out in this spring for Mother's Day. Super excited about that too. So lots of fun things happening always.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so funny. Like, and the same for me. Sometimes I go in and out of different supplements and protocols. And luckily this podcast has given me a lot of exposure to meet great guests and people that educate me more. And I just had an expert on talking about NAD and how it is, some people, you actually have this innate system to actually repair your DNA, but most people can't because they don't have sufficient NAD. And I just reminded me, oh man, I started taking the NMN again with doTERRA, and it's nice to have a really clean product. But also, I always try to tell people this, not because I could care less, like being part of the business. Yeah, I do get excited about it, but I've done my research, and people send me supplements all the time from having the podcast, and 250, I think it's 250 milligrams of NMN that is in the doTERRA sachet for their MetaPower. You would pay probably for that amount, that dosage, you probably pay about $120. Okay. And I don't even know if that's going to get you the best quality.
Right.
And
well,
you
ours is non-synthetic. It took them 3 years to find a non-synthetic form because the stuff on the market's synthetic.
There you go. So so not only are you getting a high amount, a bioavailable amount, a good quality, but you also get some other peptides like resveratrol and vitamin C and some other additional things that come in it with the collagen. So, and the price is like wholesale, which anybody can get that. It's like $80. So it's like, I'm always just really, it excites me. It always reinvigorates me to know that I'm kind of in line and standing behind a product that is legit. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I love our collagen.
All right, let's stop the chit chat. Let's get into why we really got here. Let's talk about sex.
Done with the foreplay. We're jumping in.
We're jumping in. We're talking sex and essential oils because it's February.
Yes. Okay. So this is actually one of my favorite topics. It's one of our most well-attended classes as well. So we do have a class coming up for those of people that want to really dig in. We've got a class coming up in February, so we'll let you guys know about that. But let's just talk about just the basics. So one of the things that can really, really help increase intimacy is essential oils. And there's so many reasons why, but one of the reasons why is emotional barriers. So a lot of times with couples, there's emotional barriers between people, whether it's resentment or disconnections or underlying patterns that are dysfunctional. And some of the oils that can help with that are Neroli. So Neroli is one of my absolute favorite blends. It's incredible for breast tissue and digestive upset and thyroid on a physical level, but on an emotional level, it's the oil of partnership. And so it is excellent for helping you reconnect energetically with your partner. Another oil that I love that my husband always puts on when he knows I'm upset with him is cedarwood. And it's like this hack. It always irritates me too because it works every time. Like if I'm irritated with him, he will put his cedarwood on. It's the oil of community. And it just melts away and just helps us connect on a different level. And so I just, for whatever reason, am not upset anymore. And we were able to talk. So
really quick, cut you off. Talk about, I think, and I don't know, maybe you already covered this, but I missed it, but talk about, you're telling people if they're listening, they're tuning in, they're like, what are you talking about? Essential oils helps with connection and this. But, I remember in our first episode, you kind of talked about the limbic system and the science behind it. Because if I hear you say an essential oil helps with create connection and passion and tribe, I'm just like rolling my eye. What are you talking about? But there is some science to this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you look at the cedarwood tree and you look at the root system, it is ridiculous. It's all connected, right? And so to say that what in nature mimics what happens in our physical world or can be used as medicine in our physical world is very obvious by the looks of different things. If you look at clove essential oil, cloves look like teeth, and it just happens to be, clove, the main constituent in clove is eugenol. It is what dentists use to pack dry socket for pain. It is like the best pain reliever for your teeth, better than any pain reliever you could possibly think of. Like I've had so many people come to me with, oh my gosh, these pain meds aren't working. We stick clove in there and they're like, what? So, and clove are shaped like teeth. So we look what happens in nature and we go, how can we use these as our guide to medicine? And they've done it with walnuts and the brain, and you sell these things. And so with essential oils, how they work with emotions is this way. Emotions are frequencies in the body. They're energy, they're frequencies. So when you walk in the room and somebody's heavy or they're angry or they're happy, you can feel that. You might not necessarily see it, but you can feel it, right? So when we talk about being able to feel emotions in a room, essential oils contain their own frequencies. Some of them are very high frequencies, but they all have different frequencies anywhere on a megahertz scale, from like in the 60s all the way up to the thousands. These vibrate to a certain frequency, just like people use sound frequency or sound bowls or different frequencies for healing in the body. Essential oils have that, and that's why we like to choose pure essential oils, because when you're using synthetics, they don't carry the same clean pure frequencies. So it's all about the frequencies of the heart and with connection. So like with Neroli, it carries the frequency literally of partnership. And so as you put it on, it helps your body become that essence and that frequency, and it shifts your moods very, very quickly. Another essential oil that's going to be really great for overall heart connection is rose essential oil. So we'll talk quite a bit about rose, but rose is the highest frequency oil, and it happens to be really good for trauma and grief, but it's also just really good as a personal aroma. It has incredible physical benefits as well for the bladder and female issues. So I'll talk a little bit about that. So that's the emotional piece behind it. Now let's talk a little bit about the hormonal piece behind how essential oils can enhance intimacy. So we have different essential oils that actually contain phytoestrogens and oils that help with progesterone metabolism. So one of the blends that I love for all my female clients, I even will use this with my male clients, because believe it or not, males also have estrogen and progesterone levels. They're just different levels. But what the oils will do is they will help the body metabolize and enhance the hormonal processes in the body. So Clary Calm has things like clary sage, geranium, Vitek, things like that are really good for overall hormone balancing. And so people will use it for that time of the month. They'll use it for like the sore, tender breast tissue. They'll use it for menstrual cramps, and it's just wonderful for that. But it also helps with libido. So just using this throughout the month is going to help regulate that cycle, and it's just going to help those hormones all together. The other thing about the Clary Calm, and like I said, I do use this on men. I have zero problems with men having issues with this. It actually will help men sleep. If they have excess estrogen from chemicals in their environment, it helps detox it out of their bodies. So we'll have men use this. I have a guy that this is what he uses for sleep. It's like his favorite thing for sleep. So it's great for that.
Yeah,
So,
and on that note, my wife uses Clary Calm regularly for the cycle of the month, if you will. And because I'll see it on the counter, I'm like, oh, okay, I know where we're at. But she says it helps. My wife if you know my wife, she's no bullshit. So if these things don't work, she doesn't use it. And my son, believe it or not, I just had a frequency scan done on him. And guess what? The practitioner who, first of all, they only use top line supplements, and doTERRA's the oils they use for these emotional components you're talking about. And he actually came up that his residence for his frequency, Clary Calm, actually showed up, and he's a boy. He's 6 years old. But it was because of, like you said, some of the things going on. It's just that frequency would be the best for him. So
I mean, it's got incredible oils in it. It has cedarwood in it. It has fennel, which is just great, carrot seed oil. It has so many incredible oils in it. Bergamot, which is Roman chamomile. I mean, these oils are phenomenal. It doesn't matter, female or male. It's good for hormone metabolism in the body. They're adaptogenic. And so great for adolescent females, as well as perimenopause. Works all around. So love that one, just for overall getting your hormones in line. So let's talk a little bit about arousal and what can enhance the passion and the connection, and even the intensity, right, of like orgasms and things like that. So there's oils like jasmine, as well as whisper, that are incredible. So let me tell you a little bit about whisper first. This blend is blend for women, but I will tell you again, men can use this. It's very unisex. Blend it with a more masculine smell, like a cedarwood or a black pepper, to give it kind of a little bit of a more masculine smell. And it is just awesome. Like, so many of my men love this blend. So what it has in it that is incredible for overall enhancement, it does have jasmine in it. It has cinnamon in it, has ylang ylang. has sandalwood, vetiver, bergamot. It has all these oils in it that are very specific to libido. So the first time, so I actually had a woman at a class one time started using this as her personal aroma. And was really interesting is she had a higher sex drive than her husband. Which is, sometimes can happen. I've heard of it before, believe it or not. And when she wore this, it enhanced his libido. And she actually said it saved her marriage. So the smell of this, it actually goes in the aroma into the olfactory system, and it turns something on in the brain, right? That goes in and arouses the brain because of the blend of oils in it that are very specific for libido and intimacy. This can also be good when there's been any kind of sexual trauma. Specifically, what's in there that helps with that is the cinnamon and the jasmine. So jasmine is the oil of sexual purity. So if somebody feels violated, or if they have that in their history, which unfortunately is more common than you can imagine now, we're hearing about, childhood traumas and in partnerships and things like that, things can happen. And this is something that can help the overall release of sexual trauma in the body. And then it can help us get our desire back. So this is a great one when there's been abuse or trauma, and it has the most intoxicating, beautiful, beautiful smell. I can't tell you how beautiful jasmine is. And it's just so distinct. If you've ever been to Italy or California and you've passed through jasmine fields, it literally takes you into euphoria. It's such a beautiful smell. So you can put on your wrists, on your pulse points. And this is actually free the next 3 days. So I can't wait to tell you how to get that. So jasmine is just one of those wonderful ones. I like to layer a few oils. Another fun one that's great for libido is passion. And this one is great because it's spicy. It's got that cinnamon in it. It's got clove. Ginger is also another aphrodisiac. Vanilla, we know, increases testosterone. So it has real vanilla bean in it. Most vanilla is totally synthetic. So having a real vanilla, we know it helps with testosterone levels for women and men. So this is going to increase libido as well. One time I accidentally grabbed the passion and put it in my diffuser thinking it was like grapefruit because it comes in a 5 ml. And I was thinking it was like grapefruit. So I put it in the diffuser. It was like midnight. I go to bed and it's passion and it's diffusing. And my husband, he's dead asleep. He wakes up dead asleep, and he's like ready to rock and roll. And he's like, "What are you diffusing?" Right? And so, and some of those memories are the best I have with my husband, where all I had to do was diffuse a little passion in the bedroom, and it just helps set the mood. It's so incredible. Our ability to smell is our most powerful sense over taste, over touch, over anything. The power that it has on the brain and the limbic system, our ability to smell certain scents, it can bring us into an emotional state quicker than any other state. And that's research has shown that. So that's why being able to have these smells and put them on, it's so different than wearing a synthetic perfume, which dulls the senses, can irritate the sinuses, causes free radical damage, causes hormonal imbalances. They're not the aphrodisiacs that people think they are. They're very, very toxic to every part of your hormonal system, and they will dull the senses. Whereas when you're dealing with real plant aromas that are made to enhance, that's exactly what we want to do, right? And then one more oil I'll talk about is geranium. It is found in the Clary Calm, so it can be used interchangeably. But for women that have a harder time climaxing or getting to that space faster, geranium is going to help that process. So you can use it as a lubricant with some fractionated coconut oil. I would actually could use any of these oils to enhance that speed or ability or enhancement of it overall. Geranium, Clary Calm, Whisper are all great ones to help just get the fire going and get it moving. So those are my favorite ones for intimacy. Let's talk a little bit about the men. So we got to talk about erections and things like that.
Indeed.
So actually have the best story to tell you about the.
I said I was.
Yes, we have to go here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to go here. So we're going to talk about women needing a little help. We got to talk about the men too. So one thing that men are exposed to that is really causing a lot of like erectile dysfunction these days, which is becoming more and more common for younger men, the toxins are lowering testosterone, but also they're very much surrounded. So especially men that drink alcohol, they're going to have a harder time with erections. But one of the big things, like I work with some golfers, and it's like they are surrounded by pesticides, glyphosate on these fields, and it is really affecting their body's ability to be intimate. It's affecting their testosterone, things like that. And so we've had to come up with an entire erectile dysfunction support, erectile support kit. And one of the things that we put in there is Zendocrine. So this one is really great at detoxing the sexual organs, as well as like the kidneys and bladder, which are key to keeping the prostate healthy. And so Zendocrine is going to be our number one. It's almost like our men's formula of Clary Calm, because it does have the geranium in it. It also has rosemary, which is an estrogen metabolizer. It cleanses the liver. It helps, the juniper berry helps with the kidneys. The tangerine boosts the glutathione. It's just an incredible blend. So Zendocrine is a must for that. And then things that really help with overall erections is going to be ginger essential oil. So there's two ways you can take the ginger. You can take it in a veggie capsule, or you can take it in our MetaPower blend, which also combines cinnamon, which is going to help with blood flow and metabolism. And then it also has peppermint, which is going to help with inflammation. And then it has citrus oils, which helps with detox and glutathione. So that MetaPower and metabolic blend, such a key game changer for men dealing with this because of that ginger. If you need an extra boost, take an extra little veggie capsule of ginger under the tongue, in the belly button, just drink it out through the day. I have a funny story actually about the MetaPower. This is hilarious. These women were at a bar and they had their MetaPower. Back then it was called Slim and Sassy. And these guys said, "Oh, is that something that's going to help me?" And sure, I'll take some. And they like overdosed on it. Like they drank, like they put a bunch, like they were like, right. They had erections for 4 hours.
Hold on. You know my next question. How many drops?
I don't even know how many drops. They took too much. I will tell you this. They took too much. But what I would
want to know the number of drops, because that's, yeah.
So what I would do, I would take 4 drops in a veggie capsule of the ginger if you were really wanting a boost. And I would do that, try that for a week. And then I would pair that with the MetaPower veggie capsules. And I would take 1 3 times a day, or you could do, 1 in the morning and 2 at night, whatever you want to do. But I would take up to 3 capsules of the MetaPower. There's also a MetaPower oil. If you love the flavor, put it in your water. Just
I put it in my smoothies every morning.
Yeah, 5 to 15 drops throughout the day. You don't want to do more than 24 drops throughout a 24 period because the half-life is it takes about an hour to metabolize. And so you just want to, don't overdo it. But if you're really wanting a big result, that's the way to do it. I always say take with food so you're not hurting your tummy. Mm-hmm. That's a great way to take it. And then the other great oil for erections is actually Birch essential oil.
Wow.
And yeah, Birch, it's a brand new oil. Now, this is what I will say about Birch. doTERRA tested 28 Birch on the market. 100% of them are synthetic. So keep in mind, so this is what happened. This year, doTERRA got Birch. It took them 15 years to find a sustainable, pure Birch oil. Yeah. They looked for years. So just so you know, people have been selling fake Birch. And what they found was in this fake Birch that it was expired aspirin mixed with wintergreen, or expired aspirin mixed with petrochemicals. Completely 100% fake. So just know that when you're dealing with doTERRA Birch, it is $55, but it is pure. It's not the fake stuff. So when you're dealing with Birch, okay, let me just tell you, on an emotional level, Birch is the oil of support. So a lot of men putting it just on their low back, okay, is going to help them feel supported. It's going to get inflammation down. Now, the cool thing about Birch, if you look at these Birch trees, we get them from Pennsylvania. We have a really cool whole distillery with it. In fact, the art of distilling Birch almost died, but we found the last descendant of a Birch distilling, like an old man, and he brought back the art of distilling Birch. It's the most beautiful thing. Wow. And doTERRA has the first sustainable Birch, commercial grade Birch on the market now. And it's just the most beautiful story. So bringing back this art of distilling oils and doing it the right way and not making it synthetically in a lab is what doTERRA is really passionate about. So just know every time you're buying a doTERRA oil, it's a humanitarian act. It's like you are serving humanity and you're bringing back sustainable, regenerative type farming. So that aside, the Birch trees, they're so strong, okay? They're so strong that they found that they will bend, but they won't break. Yeah. And so they're just very tough to break. So then that birch, that strength translate into us with our bones. It helps with our bones, it helps with our tissues, helps with our cartilage, and it helps with our testosterone and that kind of thing. So with birch, it's actually one of those oils that's not recommended for internal use label wise, because you can overdose on it. But I will tell you that personally, we will use birch in like our root beer recipes. You can use it as like a flavoring, but we will use it topically. And I personally will take it under my tongue because I know ours is pure, and I'm not stressed about it. So that's just what I'll do personally. But you guys can do whatever you choose to do. But warmed up and massaged on the low back, underneath the scrotum area with definitely a carrier oil, because it's warm. It's going to increase circulation, but that is going to help with that erections. So there you go. And I can confirm we have used this in the Watts household, and not that anyone was having any problems, but always takes it to the next level, you know? So we love it. We use oils every single time we're intimate. We have everything by the bed, and we use oils. It's part of our rituals, and we love it. You can also do a sensual massage with the oils, and it's a great way to just get things moving.
I love that. Okay, that was really, really good. A couple questions, because I had, well, first I wanted to comment just on what you mentioned about toxins, and I didn't even think about that. What a great just highlight that you brought to us with that idea, because I have so many men that just reach out to me, friends, old colleagues, clients. Joel, I have no energy. I'm inflamed. I'm overweight. My testosterone is 300. I have so many friends with the testosterone is 300. I mean, it's a complete joke. And it sucks because they don't know what to do. Like, the Western MD is not helping them. They refuse to give these guys testosterone. But I know, and you know, it's a toxin issue. And so I didn't even think about like the Zendocrine complex and some of the oils as well. I know doTERRA also makes a supplement, Zendocrine, like an actual supplement you can take to help detox and support the kidneys and the liver and the whole drainage system. So it makes a lot of sense if you're just looking at root cause. If you're trying to get some root cause issues, I mean, let's get the toxins out of us.
Yeah. And what I love about doTERRA is they have a whole line of toxin-free living. They're not the greenwash products like the ones on the market that you see, you know, in the grocery stores that are overpriced and under-deliver. They're high quality. I always recommend, if somebody's got a bunch of toxins, bleach, ammonia, you know, cleaners, smells in their house, scented hand soap, Glade plugins, skin, you know, synthetic garbage, Bed Bath Beyond stuff they're using on their body, just bombarded. I always recommend the first thing they start with is the laundry detergent. So swapping over to doTERRA laundry detergent, and then starting to look at the skincare, the deodorant, and then just your overall home cleaning supplies, lotions, and things like that. Just slowly start to switch over, toothpaste, things like that.
And a great point, because people always say like, I can't believe, Joel, you're affiliated with this MLM, you know, because some people attack it from that way. And I'm like, well, one, the product's just really good, number one, right? And number two is, I like being a part of the business side of doTERRA. It's like $100 a month. And you would be surprised. I'm like, do you know how much laundry detergent? Most of what I spend is laundry detergent, soaps, lotions, toothpaste. Like you said, it's stuff that I was going to buy anyways. And then we always need some new oil for On Guard, for the immunity. There's so many things like we've just talked about, just in terms of stuff for the kids, and
then the collagen and the whole line of supplements they have, and probiotics. They're high quality. They're not just like, oh, let's add this garbage probiotic. It's like, whoa, this is the highest quality probiotic I've ever seen. What? You know, and they release it with clinical trials. And so we're talking about really high quality stuff. But yeah, that the $100 a month is just for people who want to do the business. Customers can do whatever they want. And then for $100 a month, you can resell. And that's $100 a month you're spending on products. So it really doesn't cost you anything to be a part of the business. You're swapping your products out.
I don't think people realize you're already spending it. I guarantee if I look at your budget, I guarantee you're spending $100 a month on most of these products anyways. You might as well do it. And if you're conscious about your health, you might as well do it with a really good brand and product. So that's something I'd say.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about, go ahead. Tell me what you're going to say.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you just about, you know, you mentioned putting it on topically and like the wrist and some of these specific points. Would you also want to distill it or like use it in, you know, through the air as well? Or I'm assuming you see better effects when you use it topically.
Yeah, well, oh my gosh, always internally, topically, diffused. We use it all three ways in our home every single day. It's the most used product that we use. But like, I will take the passion and diffuse it, and we'll diffuse On Guard all throughout the winter months. My kids just came home with the yuckiest, cruddiest sore throat and sinus issues, and I just got the tiniest touch of it. And back in the day before oils, I had been down for 3 weeks with a sinus infection. And I'm telling you, in 2 days, I was able to get on top of it with tea tree, helichrysum, frankincense, diffusing arbavita all night and On Guard. Getting up in the middle of the night, I had just a screaming headache right here at 2 a.m. This was literally last night. I loaded on the arbavita, the On Guard, the tea tree, the frankincense, which is an anti-inflammatory. And within 10 minutes of applying those immune system oils, which are very specific to the immune system threats that are going around right now, it was like I didn't have to take an Advil. It was just that. And then I wake up refreshed. I'm breathing, no stuffed sinuses. I go and I do the Navage with tea tree, helichrysum, coconut oil, and ozone water, and my sinuses are clear. And like just having these hacks, some people will miss weeks, of school or work or whatever, and just being able to have these tools on hand. So diffusing is big. And then as far as aphrodisiac, yeah, I'm taking the citrus bliss, I'm taking the passion, I'm taking the vanilla, I'm, diffusing it throughout the house. Vanilla is one of my favorite smells. There's all synthetic though. And so all the vanilla in the world gives me headache except doTERRA's. And so I love just having that as a way to diffuse and bring in the mood as an aphrodisiac.
Awesome. And then I know you're going to talk about some of the BOGOs going on over the next couple of days and some of the specials, but last question, and I know you kind of alluded, I just want to kind of make sure you putting these oils, obviously with a carrier oil, but in general, the ones that you kind of listed, okay to put in the private areas.
Yeah, I have zero problems with it. If it feels a little hot, too hot or too minty, just bring in some coconut oil. It's always going to dilute. It's never going to, I've never had a problem burning any of my tissues or anything like that, as long as you're diluting with a carrier oil, right?
Yeah.
One of the best things that helped me is when in my younger days, after I had a baby, my hormones would be all whacked and I was prone to inflammation in that area. And something that helped was tea tree. And it was like instant relief, better than anything over the counter, a little tea tree with some coconut oil. And I was like, wow, this has worked better than anything I, have ever used. And having that instant relief with the tea tree that other over the counter products weren't able to do. So when I say, and I use it on diaper rashes and things like that, like it's so gentle. So as long as you're using your carrier oil, like I would probably not use oregano. Okay. However, I know people that have like used diluted oregano when dealing with some sort of a vaginal issue. I personally have it. They just diluted it really heavily and put it on an organic tampon with some coconut oil, and it was like it saved their vaginosis or whatever, right? Like,
yeah.
So, and I've seen that with On Guard as well, which seems like a spicy oil. It has cinnamon and clove in it. So use with caution, right? But just know that I've had people literally with vaginosis use On Guard on a tampon with coconut oil. And it's like, oh my gosh, this has been life-changing for me. Like they no longer have this chronic issue, or they'll do a doTERRA cleanse. And that's the only thing that got rid of, the microbiome that was inflammatory for them. And so I feel like it's very safe for those tissues. If it does get hot, your carrier oil is your best friend. You're going to be totally fine.
Awesome. One last thing before we wrap up, I just thought of this. I had a client come through recently with an enlarged prostate. Have you ever had that? And I know you mentioned the prostate, but have you seen anything within the doTERRA line that's worked really well?
Yeah. So a lot of older men have this issue. They say that they don't know what causes it. I feel like I know what causes it. I think that it's, I believe from what I've dealt with a lot of men, it's sexual imbalances. So in the body, and I'm sure there's environmental toxins as well that contribute to it. But something that can just get the swelling down and inflammation in general is fennel. Essential oil can help with just the bladder. The Zendocrine also, Immortel is a great one to use topically. Fennel probably gets the most immediate results with helping them use the bathroom first thing in the morning. So fennel under the tongue and fennel diluted topically just underneath where the prostate would be closest to. And then the other thing that's gonna help is ginger. And again, the birch for swelling. So I would use all those same things that are good for that area. The Meta Power line is going to be help, the anti-aging, the inflammation, the collagen, all those things are going to help. But detoxification, The Zendocrine, that's
Yeah.
all going to help with the prostate. But fennel's probably the one that gets people like instant, like, you know, if they're taking Flomax or something, fennel is going to be the most to assist with that.
Got you. And really quick, I just thought about this, but when you say sexual imbalance, are you thinking too about on an emotional level?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be sexual repression. It could be sexual fixation. It could be pornography addiction. Those kind of things.
Okay. Yeah. And because I mean, it just to me when you said that immediately, I thought emotional, and I know a big part of our talk was emotions and oils and how they can help. So I was just thinking, man, maybe sure some of these things can help at the root cause, but I'm wondering also emotionally if there's something there that can also help with the use of the oil. So that's
Yeah.
kinda neat.
And just like men that do like the sex jokes and the misogyny and like that kind of, I like to call that, there's a difference to me between sacred masculinity and toxic masculinity. So when people say thank goodness for toxic masculinity, when they're, you know, showing these men taking care of perpetrators and things like that, that to me is sacred masculinity. Toxic masculinity to me is women, or that men that look at women as objects, men that make jokes about women, men that scroll and look at porn. Like that's toxic masculinity, and those emotional toxins get stuck in the prostate, and that's where I feel like that imbalance. Um, from my experience working with a lot of these older men, that is where it seems to get stuck.
Yeah. Wow. That was good. All right. Last but not least, tell everybody doTERRA's running a special. I didn't even know this special was going to happen. I was just reached out to you. I was like, I want to do a podcast on
Yes,
oils
on
and
Inter.
sex. And then you're like,
Yes.
great timing because there's a BOGO going on. So tell everybody about kind of what's going on, and then yeah, we'll wrap things up.
Yeah, so they have a BOGO Thursday, Friday, and Saturday where you can buy Rose Touch. It's normally $100 oil with Joel's link. With your link, you can get it for 75. So it'll be 25% off, and then you get a free Jasmine. And Jasmine is not a cheap oil either. It's a $47 oil. So you're going to get this free when you buy this. You can buy up to 5 per account. They're wonderful gifts. But it's, yeah, buy one, get one free all 3 days while supplies last. And so we'll post your link with a few of our favorites we talked about, and people can add or remove anything they want from the cart, but we'll make sure to leave that rose in there so you guys get the free Jasmine.
Yeah. Nice. Amazing. Melody Watts, thank you so much for coming back on again. Where can people just connect with you if they want to learn more about all the cool things you're up to, that you're not little, but your, I was going to say holistic health hacks and all the stuff that you're talking about on your channel?
Yeah, they can just follow me on Instagram, Melody C. Watts. That's where I post most of my stuff. My website's melodywatts.net. But yeah, I'll probably have an extensive blog post on the Rose and the Jasmine this week as well.
Amazing. Mel, thanks for being on the show. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.